So today we are going to look at the EmberEdge KX100. EmberEdge was kind enough to send me their mousepad for a review. This mousepad comes in 600mm in the width and 470mm in the height and 3mm thick. They describe the KX100 as a control speed pad with a perfect balance of speed for smooth tracking and control precision. They also mention with this kind of like a graph that showcase the mousepad being more control focused than being speed focused, which in my opinion is not 100% true. Because the mousepad feels much faster than my high-bit speed pad from Infinity Mice Duel, but I gave them a point of mentioning that there is really a low static friction and dynamic friction. Basically, the surface of the mousepad doesn't need that much of movement to make the mice glide with ease. With my humble testing of the speed of the surface, I came across with a very similar speed in X and Y axis, but while I use the mousepad, I feel less friction on X movement, so swiping the mice from left to right, which feels less pulling on the mouse. But in the X-axis, I can feel slightly more pull on the mice, on the skates basically on them. So definitely it feels smoother by swiping the mice on the X-axis for like tech FPS games. But when you are playing a track heavy games like Apex or Overwatch, which I do play, I feel there is a slightly more pull when moving the mice upwards on the mousepad on the Y-axis. In my testing, I didn't feel that much of an issue while playing games like CS2, but the X-axis feels a bit faster to my liking. But it is still usable, so you can easily do fast flicks with a decent amount of stopping power. In track-heavy games like Apex or Overwatch, I didn't feel that much of a pull, so there was not much of a problem for me with the surface of this pad. I have tested this mousepad with different mouse skates and with the stock Lamzo Atlantis skates. I felt that they are much slower than my dot skates. I've also tested Ghost Glide Cyclones, which provides good amount of speed and stopping power. These are my more favorite skates. They perform great on cloth pads, but they are made for glass pads, where they perform great as well. I didn't have to change my sensitivity, and comparing those to X-Ray Pair Obsidians, these feel more controlled and slightly slower than Cyc, but they still provide a much less friction and ease of move than the stock skates on my Lamzo Atlantis. But they still provide a much less friction and ease of move than my stock skates on the Lamzo Atlantis. The surface of the mousepad feels rough, it feels like abrasive, but when I am playing any game on it, if it's a tech FPS games or track heavy games, I do not feel the roughness of the mousepad. It almost like disappears. So I can also feel very minimal pull on my hand when swiping across the surface. So going up and down or left to right feels very easy in my experience, but I will not recommend using arm sleeve on this mousepad as it might be too rough on the sleeve and it might tear up your sleeve. My friend Ilmeister describes the surface of this pad feel like a fine suede, the type of fabric that you could run your hands through and imagine leaving a print mark if you slid your hands over it in one direction, which I can 100% confirm. You can already see the print on my hand from using the mousepad. Don't know if you can like see it on the camera. Probably not. Basically, I have my hand around in this position and I can see like there is the mark on my skin from using this mousepad, so keep that in mind. Which is something I do not personally like. It means that the surface of this pad is really rough, not only to touch but also on your skin. The base of the KX100 is made out of rubber using some anti-skid backing material to make it move less on your desk, which I find this surface is really hard to move on my desk. I have to use a lot of force to try to pull it on my desk, but the base feels cheap. You can roll it up easily. But the mousepad comes packed flat. I do not feel any huge bumps or dents on my mousepad, but I have seen other people having issues with this base while having bumps or dents on the base. Mine feels smooth to the point until I go over with my finger, the way I hold my mice. I'm basically touching my ring finger on the mousepad and I can feel the weave of the base of the mousepad. But when I rub my hands over the surface, I don't feel any of that. For comparison, my Infinity Mice Duel comes with a soft boron base, as they describe it, and it slides on my desk way more than the KX100. But on my ESP Tiger Feng Ling, they are using this mirror surface Poran, which basically, I mean, it's dirty. As you can see that the surface is not clean. It's dirty from my desk. But when you clean it, when it's basically new, the mousepad sticks onto the desk and it's very hard to move it on your desk. I can show you a picture of me sticking the base of the Feng Ling to my fridge and it basically holds, and I was having a bit of issue by pulling the mousepad off my fridge, and it feels much softer even than the Infinity Mice Duel, but the KX100 is much firmer. Also, the stitching on the KX100 feels less quality. On this side, it doesn't look that bad, but you can see some white spots on it. Do you see those white spots, like here? Yeah, that's it. Which looks like there was not enough threading used on the stitching, and I've already seen people having issues with the stitching tearing off. You can see on the Feng Ling, it looks way smoother. On the Infinity Mice Duel, I feel like there is used a below surface stitching, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But the stitching on these two mousepads feels way better, like way better. That's just something I want to mention about the KX100. In conclusion, do I recommend this mousepad to you? Not much. It feels rough, the base stitching feels cheap, and it is good performing mousepad while gaming. There is a decent amount of stopping power when you like want to stop. It kinda helps stop you the mouse from movement. It is easy to move the mice with low static friction and dynamic friction. I do not hate it. I have fun using it, especially the size of it, which is crazy. Basically, I have to place almost half of my keyboard on the mousepad to sit comfortably. I do not have much problem with the base. It doesn't move on my desk. I don't feel any huge bumps or dents, but I have felt when I was using dot skates that my sensor skipped, and I felt this twice. I also have a cat, so it might have been a cat hair or something, but this hardly happens on any of my mousepads, so it might be the issue coming from this base, so I will not 100% recommend using dot skates on this mousepad. But for $47, I don't know if I can recommend it to any mousepad enthusiast on this end, especially when you can buy, for example, an Infinity Mice mousepad that comes with better surface, better stitching on the edges, and better base, in my opinion. I have not tested other of their mousepads, but I have heard only the good about their mousepads. The only issue my Duel has is the slippery base. That is the only issue. I also got it on sale for like €3, so it is hard for me to recommend the KX100 to any of you. In its unique size, I give it a credit. I would personally be much happier if the size will be like 500 by 500 millimeters. If they will improve the base and the surface, maybe I could be able to recommend it to you, but not now. I also have talked with EmberEdge on their Twitter. We basically had talk about the surface and the base, and they told me it would be way more expensive to make a Poran base, and also that they did not felt any difference between those two mentioned bases. But I still believe if the base will be much smoother and flat, they will fix the issues of the unevenness of the surface of the base. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, you can leave a like, subscribe to my channel so you won't miss any of my newer videos. I will keep making them. If I have missed anything in this video, let me know down in the comments, or if there is anything you want to ask more about this mousepad, you can basically ask. Peace out.